Hi there, it's Bernina Robin. Welcome to my studio. Now, as I said, I'm going to now show you what all these pieces on your beautiful Legacy Bernina 830 record are. So, first things first, this dial here, this outside dial, is going to change the width of your stitch. So whatever width we put it on, you can see clearly from 0 to 4, and it goes left to right, okay? The center one, if you watch my needle here, it is in the center. If I turn it one click, or right to the left, it goes completely to the left of my foot. If I do one more click, if I can do one, it goes half, then it goes center, half right, and all the way to the right. There we go, I did it. So center needle position needs to be straight up and down. 0 means straight sewing. This one here we're going to do in another class because that is just for your buttonhole. So you leave it on 0, you do not turn it. When you turn it, you'll hear a definite click and it will change everything up here. So we're not doing that today, but it's very, very, very good. So that one stays on 0 for all our normal sewing. This one is our stitch length. So when we wind it down, we've got numbers down the side and we can see our stitch length would be on 2.5. When we lift this up, it will go into reverse. So down, 2.5, lift will go into reverse and back down again. This one here, as I mentioned in the last video, this is the feed dogs are up when that little dial is to the right. And if we drop it down, our feed dogs disappear and our feed dogs are down. You would use that for freehand quilting and darning. So we're going to put our feed dogs back up. And this one here is interesting. A lot of people don't know what this button is here. It has got MAX, so maximum speed, and if I move it, it's got MIN for minimum speed. So it's an important button, that one, when you want to go fast or slow. Then on the top here, we have our zigzag here, and we have 1 to 20. So this is zigzag and straight sewing, and 0 is straight sewing and zigzag. When I move this lever, I need to pull this lever across and up, and it will select any of these pattern stitches that I like. And your book will tell you what to set everything for. But let's just do the basics today. So zigzag, zigzag, 0 for straight sewing, 0 for straight sewing, 2.5 stitch length, okay? Light on and off as I showed you in the last video. So when you're sewing on a machine with a knee control, if you learn to use your left foot, you will thank me. Because as you're sewing, when you're sewing along, and the needle goes into the work and you want to turn your work, you've got your right knee free to turn. I'm going to go a slightly longer length. Right knee's free to turn. Needle down, lift with my right leg, so I'm not having to use my hands, and stitch with my left foot. Needle down, lift, turn and stitch. Needle down, always towards you, lift, turn. Okay, remember the reverse is here. So you just lift it up until you've done your reverse. Needle down, lift and turn. It's brilliant. So this gives you 2 free hands for sewing, and you're not having to stop, put this down, then lift this up and do this and then put that down, and you know, it's just awkward. So once down, lift up and turn. If your machine doesn't sound as quiet as this, then go back to my previous video and do the basics and clean and oil your machine. Now when you're ready to change your stitch, you need to bring your balance wheel so your needle is up. So we want the needle out of the work. Now I'm going to put it on a zigzag width, and remember it's set on zigzag and straight sewing, and I can bring my stitch length up and I can do a zigzag, close, wider, 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 longer, longer, longer. And then this one is wider, wider and narrower, and you can do it while you're sewing. So I can make this close and I can stitch it as I'm sewing, go wider, make it longer, you're not going to hurt your machine, and come in and make it narrower and closer. Reverse, remember, no matter what stitch you're on, is that. Okay? Very easy. Now if you want to cut your thread, use your knee control, lifts up your foot, bring your thread out, and behind the foot is a little cutter. And it's just really tiny, and it's just a perfect little cut. Now if I want to do a fancy stitch, my needle is up and I'm going to push it to 1 to 20, and I'm going to do stitch number 2. So across and up and back. I'm going to do it 4 width, and I'm going to do it really close on 1 length. Now this is called the serpentine stitch or the mending stitch. I love it. It's such a beautiful stitch. Needle up so I can lift, pull my work out and cut my work at the back. So that is your serpentine stitch. So it's doing stitching all the way along. It's a really, really good stitch. The reason why this is also called a mending stitch is because if I leave it nice and wide and I bring my stitch length really close, if I have a hole in my fabric, say I had a tear in my fabric and I wanted to fix it, I'll use this scrap of fabric. Here's my tear in my fabric, I've got a big hole and I want to mend it. I would put another bit of fabric underneath, I would sit my fabric on top, and I would line the centre of my foot, there's a little mark, with the centre of my hole, and this is how I would mend it. So I would have it lovely and wide and close, and I would run the centre of that all the way around until I get to the other end. And what I've done is I've just butted those 2 little bits of fabric together so that they're well going to be stuck together. Use the same colour thread. When you get to the end, just go past the end. Now the needle is to the right, I lift my work around, and now what I do, I'll do this to show you, I run the centre of my foot on the left hand side of the outside of my stitch. So I'm going to be overlapping my stitch. So now I run it on the left hand side and I'm overlapping my stitch. When I get to this end, I'm going to leave that needle up because I'm going to use my knee control and turn it, and I'm going to go to the opposite side. And now I'm going to stitch on this side, and I have done a very, very strong mend. I'll reverse it when I get to the end. It's such a wonderful stitch. So when I get to the end here, I lift my reverse up, not much because it's only a little lever, turn my balance wheel towards me to take my needle up, use my knee control, pull my work out and cut my thread on the end. Oh, wrong lever, that one there. So can you see that beautiful, beautiful mend? So it's very, very flat. It's not going to rip again. And on the back, what I do, such a beautiful sample, on the back what I do is I have these wonderful duckbill scissors and I trim my fabric back. So with the duckbill, this part goes on your garment, and then the top blade will cut all the way back as close as you can go, and you don't end up with all the bulk. So now I'll go this side and I'll trim this as close as I can using my wonderful duckbill scissors. You can get them in left and right hand. You can get them tiny, shorter, longer. And now the back of my mend looks like that, so there's no bulk of fabric anywhere. And then the front of my mend is beautiful and flat and will never rip again. So if you use a self colour, or you can make a feature out of doing it, this is a wonderful, wonderful stitch. So it's stitch number 2 on your machine, and it's called the Serpentine stitch. So that's just a little insight into how to change to go to your different stitches. So now I want to push this across and down. I want to push this back to zigzag. I want to put this back to 0. I want to put this back to 2.5 to 3. And now we're on straight sewing again. So knee control, up, foot down, left foot for sewing, reverse, and away you go. Right, so there you have it. So that's just learning these little parts of your machine that are so important. Oh, what I'll do before I go is I'll quickly show you the maximum and the minimum speed. So I'm going to leave it on the maximum, and I'm going to sew down here. Now turn the balance wheel, lift and cut, lift and pull out. Now I'm going to put it on minimum speed. So this little lever down here, remember, I'm just going to pull this button across towards me, and it will show MIN. So now my foot will be flat down. This is minimum speed. My foot is flat down. That's as fast as it's going to go. So I would suggest to you, if you have children and you're teaching them, put it on minimum speed. Don't tell them. Just say that's as fast as the machine will go, because then they won't get their fingers in the road or try and go too fast. And then as they're older, you can put it on maximum speed, and they'll get very excited about being able to go faster. But I think a lot of people, if they just slow down, their sewing would get better and better. Now, I did forget to tell you something last time, and I forgot to tell you about the wonderful toolbox. So this is the toolbox that comes with the machine, and it's got Bernina on it, and these, you get spare bobbins, and you get lots of different feet. Now, I have been doing some videos on some of the older Berninas to show you what all the feet are for, and I'll do some more on this machine. But also, it comes with a wonderful book. So this Bernina guide tells you how to use every single stitch, so you can see it's well used, every single foot, and how to do every stitch on your machine. So they are a wealth of knowledge, these books. They are very, very, very good. So, you know, please, if you haven't got one, you can possibly go online and download one. But look after these beautiful machines, because they'll keep on going as long as they're well maintained. And they are wonderful. So get them out of your cupboard and use them, because they're a beautiful, beautiful Bernina. And we love them anyway. We love all the new machines, but we love our old ones as well. So to turn my machine off, I simply flick the switch here, and then I pull it out of turn the power off and pull it out. Now when we come back, I'm going to show you how to put away your beautiful machine, because you do need to pack it up in its case. And sometimes they come into our work and they're not packed up correctly, so I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'll see you again soon.